The film begins on a small island, surrounded by a calm sea, where a couple swims and enjoys a few moments of leisure beneath a clear sky and seemingly perfect weather. After some time, they decide to head back because the tide is rising. At that moment, the young woman notices something passing near them beneath the water and becomes frightened. Her boyfriend tries to reassure her, saying that everything will be fine once they return to the boat. However, we notice that the rope keeping the vessel anchored is badly worn, and while the two swim back, it begins to slowly snap apart. At the same time, a massive shark-shaped shadow approaches, attracted by the constant movement of the couple's arms and legs. The woman manages to reach the boat, but when she looks back and calls for her companion, she sees only a large red stain spreading across the water, indicating that the worst has happened. The man still manages to surface and call for help from his girlfriend, but he is pulled back beneath the surface and killed for good. Desperate, the young woman climbs completely aboard the vessel when suddenly the old rope finally snaps, causing the sail to swing violently and strike her directly in the face, knocking her unconscious into the water. Sometime later, we meet Charlie and his girlfriend Kate finishing another day of work at a company that offers single-engine airplane sightseeing tours for visitors to admire the region's beautiful landscapes. While relaxing at home, Charlie receives a call from a potential customer interested in hiring their services for the following day. He becomes quite excited because it would mean extra income that same week and help cover their growing expenses. The next morning, a car arrives carrying a couple named Joe and Michelle, who have hired the aerial tour for the entire day. After formal introductions, everyone begins boarding, but before that an unusual situation occurs between Ben and Michelle, marked by a strange exchange of glances that sparks curiosity. Soon they take off and admire the lush and breathtaking scenery of the region. The tour itinerary includes visiting a small deserted island and making the most of the experience. During the trip, they discuss the possibility of sharks inhabiting the area, but Charlie, who has experience as a marine biologist, assures them that this rarely happens, at least during that time of year. He also recalls that during his years in the profession, he suffered an accident with a shark that tore away part of his leg. Upon arriving at the island, Kate explains that the location became known as Hell Reef after a pearl hunter's boat sank there in 1991. 8 crew members were stranded for 15 days without food or water, and in the end only one survived, an 18-year-old Japanese boy. At that moment, Michelle reveals that the survivor was her grandfather and shows them a photograph of him. She also explains that her true reason for being there is to fulfill his final wish by scattering his ashes at that place, so he could rest beside the friends who died in the shipwreck. Afterward, they walk along the beach, chat casually, observe dolphins, and admire the natural beauty of the landscape while enjoying a rare moment of peace. Then Kate surprises Charlie by revealing that she is pregnant. The news makes them both extremely happy, although it also awakens concerns about the future. Suddenly, Ben calls them over to show something terrible, the body of a dead person lying on the sand, victim of a shark attack, the same man seen at the beginning of the story. They discuss the situation and decide to leave immediately. Ben, however, believes the victim's wife may still be alive and insists they need to search for her, since surviving alone in that place would be nearly impossible. Joe prefers to return and leave the matter to the Coast Guard, but Charlie disagrees. They therefore decide to explore nearby locations in search of the missing woman. Shortly afterward, they find an overturned boat and approach it to investigate. Ben decides to dive down and inspect the submerged portion while the others wait. Underwater, he identifies it as the very vessel belonging to the attacked couple, but he receives a huge shock when he discovers the woman's completely and covered in bite marks. He quickly returns to the plane and reports that there is no longer any hope because she is dead as well, increasing the tension among everyone. Then, when they finally prepare to leave, Ben, before boarding, exchanges another glance with Michelle. At that moment, however, she notices a shark rapidly advancing toward them, slicing through the water at terrifying speed. the creature attacks the airplane and causes Ben to fall into the water. The impact damages the structure responsible for keeping the aircraft afloat, and it begins to slowly sink. Ben grabs an inflatable raft, and everyone heads toward it. Before abandoning the site, Charlie still tries to send a distress signal by radio, but he must leave quickly because the airplane continues sinking without stopping. The massive shark keeps circling around them, and because of that their only hope becomes the life raft as the airplane sinks completely, leaving Charlie frustrated and adrift alongside the others. The group analyzes the desperate situation they are in, since they are 150 kilometers from the coast, and even if a rescue operation is launched, it could take days to locate them. Charlie explains that for now the ocean current is in their favor, but they will need to row for an entire day if they want to reach a safe place. Joe becomes extremely irritated by the circumstances, creating tension between him and Charlie, who nervously asks if there is a better plan. Since night will soon arrive, Charlie insists that they must continue toward land. The couple expresses concern about the beast remaining in the water, but Charlie tries to reassure them by saying that perhaps the animal will leave. They then begin rowing, facing the vast ocean ahead of them, while Charlie uses his compass to guide them toward their destination. However, hidden beneath the surface, a huge great white shark continues silently and patiently following the group. Shortly afterward, inside the raft, Charlie asks Ben about the predator, and Ben estimates that the creature is at least 5 meters long. While Kate helps Michelle with her injury, the woman reveals that Joe is so shaken because he has a genuine fear of water due to an accident he suffered when he was younger. Even so, she managed to convince him to take that trip, which unfortunately turned into a nightmare. Night falls while they continue searching for land. At that moment, we see the massive shadow of the shark staying close to the raft. Time passes and the night deepens. At one point, a frustrated Joe speaks to the group, saying that he is an excellent analyst and, after evaluating their situation, concludes that they have less than a 5% chance of survival. He then asks the experienced marine biologist Charlie whether the shark is still nearby. Charlie replies that he cannot be certain, but prefers to be honest and admits that he believes the beast is still lurking close by, further increasing everyone's concern and reinforcing their desire to reach safety quickly. Michelle makes a tremendous effort while rowing and ends up with badly damaged hands. Joe tears part of his shirt and improvises a covering to protect her hands. Later, exhausted, some of them fall asleep, including Michelle, who without realizing it lets one of the oars slip into the water while the shark continues watching them from a distance. She wakes up shortly afterward and informs the others that she accidentally dropped the oar. Fortunately, it is still nearby, but someone will have to retrieve it. Charlie becomes frightened because the situation reminds him of the traumatic attack he suffered in the past. Kate, noticing his hesitation, decides to recover the object before he has to enter the water. Charlie begs her not to go, but she assures him that she will be fine and carefully moves forward, trying not to make any noise. After retrieving the oar and beginning to return to the raft, a fin appears directly behind her. Terrified, she swims back quickly while the beast returns to the depths. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief when they see her safely aboard, although they become even more anxious realizing that the predator remains very close. As they continue rowing, Kate and Michelle change into warmer clothes. Kate manages to put hers on without difficulty, but Michelle struggles, and Ben attempts to help her. Joe rejects the approach and immediately pushes him away. The two begin arguing, and in that moment, Joe shoves Ben out of the raft and into the sea. Ben has difficulty climbing back aboard because of his injured arm. Charlie and Kate reach out to help him, but before he can climb in, Ben is dragged beneath the water and killed by the beast. The loss leaves everyone deeply shaken. Time passes, and during a rainstorm, they manage to collect some water to drink. Later, while checking their few available supplies, Charlie finds a knife and comments that if he could get close enough to the shark, he could strike its small brain. Kate considers the plan extremely dangerous, and he eventually abandons the idea. Charlie stores the weapon, while Michelle asks him to also protect her grandfather's ashes. The shark remains nearby, although the group does not know exactly where the danger is. Shortly afterward, they are startled when the creature overturns the raft, throwing everyone into the water. Terrified, they try to get back aboard as quickly as possible. Only Kate manages to climb in at first, and unfortunately Joe is also attacked by the gigantic shark. Michelle panics and tries to reach her husband, but Charlie stops her. Suddenly, Joe reappears on the surface, gravely injured. The group attempts to help him, only to witness the shark drag him back into the depths. By dawn, with no hope left, Michelle scatters her grandfather's ashes into the water and asks him to watch over her husband's soul. Seeing how devastated she is, Kate tries to encourage her and insists that she should not give up, claiming that they can still survive. At that moment, Charlie delivers terrible news. The shark punctured the raft, and it is rapidly losing air, drastically reducing their chances of staying out of the water. Later, even without oars, Kate and Michelle try to propel the raft using their own hands, while Charlie improvises a spear using the remaining piece of an oar and the knife they found. After a brief rest, the beast appears again. Charlie prepares to attack it, but the shark merely continues circling the group without coming too close. Soon he realizes that there is not just one predator, but two sharks. Charlie and the two women become frightened, and he tries to strike one of them with his improvised weapon but fails. Time advances and the situation worsens when one of the sharks charges the raft, causing Kate to fall into the water. Charlie quickly pulls her back aboard, and the three remain united in their search for safety. Hours continue passing, and while they sleep, they do not realize that the raft is almost completely deflated and filling with water. However, a glimmer of hope appears when they spot a small island only a few meters away. Encouraged, they push themselves even harder to reach it as quickly as possible. Yet danger returns, and, to make matters worse, the raft is practically sinking. Desperate, Charlie reveals that he has a plan. He gathers his equipment and hands a flare gun to Kate, instructing Michelle to swim to the shore first and save herself. Determined, Charlie and Kate remain behind to confront the sharks, while Michelle heads toward the beach. Charlie then lures one of the predators close to them. Kate fires the flare directly into the creature's mouth, while Charlie leaps onto it and repeatedly strikes its head until reaching a fatal spot, finally managing to kill one of the sharks. Shortly afterward, the two begin searching for the other predator, which could appear at any moment. Overcome by fear, Michelle climbs onto a shipwreck near the beach. The shark then abandons its previous pursuit and seeks a more vulnerable target. Trying to protect Kate, Charlie pushes her away, but he is attacked by the beast and unfortunately killed. Devastated by the loss, Kate decides to continue and make her way toward Michelle. The two women deeply mourn the deaths of their companions, but the moment of grief is brief because the shark returns and knocks them both back into the water. Kate quickly comes up with an idea and attracts the creature's attention toward herself, allowing Michelle to continue swimming toward the beach. Kate then enters the sunken vessel and continues being pursued. She tries to hide from the beast but remains protected only for a short time because she is soon discovered. The shark forces its way into the compartment of the ship, but in charging the structure it causes the wreckage to collapse on top of itself, becoming trapped among the twisted metal. Kate also ends up trapped, with her air tank caught on an iron bar, gradually running out of breath until she loses consciousness. Fortunately, Michelle decides to return and help her. She shares part of her own air supply with Kate, managing to wake her. Once recovered, Kate looks for a way to eliminate the shark once and for all, and notices a sharp iron rod positioned above the animal's head. She strikes the support holding the metal piece and causes it to fall directly onto the predator, killing it permanently. The film ends with the two women leaving the water and reaching the island's beach, relieved to have survived, although they must now face a new challenge, enduring hunger and thirst until rescue finally arrives.